hate to see that shot curving out to the right, and that is an absolute killer. Right then guys, nobody likes seeing that big slice. For right-handers, out to the right, massive loss of distance, no control where it's going, lots and lots of lost golf balls. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to turn your slice into a draw with your driver. Right then guys, so this is always a really popular subject, something I get asked lots and lots about, and the reason for me doing today's video is I've had lots and lots of comments lately asking could I do a video about this. So if you're new down to my channel, welcome down to Ali Taylor Golf. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. Really appreciate you guys taking the time watching my content. My content is just here to help you guys play better golf. So anytime you've got something that you feel you'd like me to cover, drop it in the comments below and I'll always do my best to get a video out there to help you guys play better golf. But like I said, today's video is about turning your slice with your driver into a draw, get you hitting the ball further, more accurately, and making it easier to play from the middle of the fairway. Right then, so first of all, what is causing that slice? So what we know from the golf swing with launch monitors nowadays is that the golf ball sets off very close to where that club face is pointing, and then the direction the club is moving at impact with the golf ball then influences the shape of the golf ball. So anybody who is right-handed golfer who is slicing the golf ball, the club face will be pointing to the right of where the path of the club is moving. Now it depends a little bit on where your golf ball is setting off. So for example, if your club face was pointing a little bit right of target at impact, but your club head is traveling a long way to the left, you could still get that ball setting off right of target and then shaping even more left to right, which is a huge killer. And if we have a look at the first slice that we hit on the video on Trackman, let's give you some visuals as to where the club face was pointing and what the path of the club was doing. Okay, so what we see on the screen is that the white line is pointing down the target, so we can see the red arrow is actually pointing to the right of target, and the blue line, which indicates the club path, is going to the left. And we can see from the numbers at the bottom, we can see that my club face was 13.2 degrees to the right of the path, but the club path was actually swinging out to in 5.3 degrees. And then the wider the difference between the red arrow and the blue line, the more shape we're going to see on the golf ball. So the key in today's video is we're going to talk about how you're going to improve your swing path. So I've done videos about this subject in the past, and I'm also a believer that sometimes it's the club face being out of position that then creates that out to in swing path. But I think with some golfers what happens is they're already swinging that way, and the brain knows that the ball's going to miss to the left, so it starts leaving the club face more towards the target, and that's where we start creating more and more shape. And particularly for any of you guys out there who have predominantly got a fade or a slice, who aim further and further left, it's almost like your brain then leaves the club face more at the target. That V that I showed you visually gets wider and the slice gets bigger and bigger. So a really important thing I think to understand with your golf swing is actually swing direction. So when we quickly look at that number before, even my swing direction before was 4.3 degrees to the left. Now the reason I think swing direction is very important to understand is swing direction is the direction the club is moving at the lowest point of the swing, where swing path is the direction the club's moving at full compression of the golf ball. So if the lowest point of your swing was directly under the ball, swing direction and swing path would be the same. But with driver, for years we've been told about trying to get that low point behind the golf ball, and then as the club starts moving up, it actually starts moving more to the left because of the arc we swing on. So the big thing for a lot of guys to understand is, yes, we need that swing path to be more to the right, but it does depend where your low point is. If your low point was after the golf ball, the club will actually be moving more to the right anyway. But I'm going to assume that most golfers out there are maybe starting to get that low point behind the golf ball because they've worked hard on it. So what I want us to really work hard on today is to try and feel like we start swinging the club from the top of the backswing more over to the right. Now, the initial worry for guys, and I would say this is definitely where you have to practice this before you take it to the golf course, is you might start being able to swing the club over to the right, but your initial feeling might still be that you're leaving that club face to the right. So you might actually hit some kind of push slices. Again, I'm a big believer that it's amazing how good the human brain is at working out little extra movements we need to make. So I think for golfers who normally move this way and leave the club face open, the more they swing to the right, the more they start to feel the club head rotate better, release the club better, and it's amazing how they then start getting the ball shaping the other way. But you have to be willing to do some practice swings, feeling like you're swinging a long way to the right. Now that feels hugely exaggerated, and I would, in the practice swing, I would always exaggerate what you're doing. Then as you set up to the golf ball, you can then hit a shot, get a feel for what that's doing, and then we can see how that works. So we can see over-exaggerated the shape a little bit, but for anyone who slices the golf ball, you will absolutely love seeing the ball starting to shape that way. So let's do a couple and see if we can get that feel of swinging the club more to the right, which is obviously going to change the path, but the path might not be as exaggerated as you think if that low point is still behind the golf ball. So let's go again. Trying to turn over. And let's go one final one before we look at some numbers. So again, turning over. Not too worried initially about how much shape, but let's look at some visuals, let's look at some numbers, and did I start changing my slice into a draw? So if we look at that last shot, particularly that I hit there, we can see on the visuals now the blue line is now going to the right. The red arrow was pointing much more towards the target, which is why the ball set off pretty much down the target and then shaped to the left. We can see that my swing direction has gone from 4 degrees left to 12 degrees right, which is huge. My club path is now 8.7 degrees from the inside, so nowhere near as exaggerated as the swing direction, but that's because my low point is 5.5 inches behind the golf ball. And when we compare the graphics side by side, on the right hand side we've got the first slice, so we can see swing direction 4 degrees left. On the left hand side, so we've moved the swing direction by 16 degrees, which is a huge amount. Like I said, the club face is also in a very, very different position, but my brain then understands if the club's moving to the right, the club face can afford to be closed to get that there. And as a result of that, we can see hugely different shape shots. Right then guys, so the first thing is understanding why you're slicing the golf ball. That is key. It's always a case that the path of the club is moving more left of where the club face is pointing. So if you can improve your swing path, straight away you've got a great opportunity to shape the ball differently to how you are doing. And like I showed in the video there, you have to be very, very exaggerated with driver. And the big thing I think that lets most golfers down, if they're swinging out to in, they'll say, I feel I'm swinging more from the inside. They might be, but it might still be out to in. Over exaggerate. Never be afraid in practice of over exaggerating a feeling. And it's amazing sometimes that exaggerated feeling, what shot it suddenly gives you. Now the big challenge with that is then taking that to the golf course, trusting it and committing when you get out there. But I think if you've done it enough in practice, it gives you a great opportunity to build some belief that you can take it to the golf course and then start hitting some draws instead of slices. So guys, hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, like and share it, comment below, and I'll get back to as many people as I can. If you've enjoyed today's video and you don't subscribe already, please consider clicking that subscribe button. Remember to ring the notification bell, and then you find out when I drop a new video. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.